Hello, my name is Kainton, the Genius, and welcome to day 4 of the ASP.NET training program in 24 days. And today we are going to start with variables, data types, and declaration. Remember, you can always subscribe to join this class. It's free, and you need to subscribe so that you get notifications when new lessons are made. And also you can get answers to your questions and support for any assignments that you may have at any time. Alright, so let's get started. Let's start with answering the question, what is a variable? A variable is a container that holds data. We can say a variable is a memory location that holds data. Let's say you have series of scores of students. They can be placed inside a variable. So let's go out to open Visual Studio and start demonstrating this. Visual Studio 2013 is what I'm using for this class. Visual Studio 2013 Ultimate, but you can always get a free one. From lesson 3 we worked on creating our workspace, so I'm going to start from the previous solution that we built that contains a console application, a web application, and a Windows application. So this is where we stopped. So today we are going to work with the console application or the console project. So I'm going to open console app and open programs, program.cs. So it's open. I'm going to right click on it. I want to close every other tab so that we only have one tab open. So just click on close all but this, so it closes. Alright, so at this point let's demonstrate what a variable is. So a variable, for instance, name, string name equal to I can just give it Kainton the Genius, that is me. Okay, so at this point I've declared a variable called name. It's highlighting it because it's not used. So if I say Console.WriteLine, Console.WriteLine, and I say name, it recognizes it. So permit me to move this line down. So if I go ahead to run this program, remember you need to change the startup program to the one you want to run when the program starts. So I'm going to right click on the console app and set it as a startup project, and at this time I can save and click on start. So I have a variable called name and I'm going to write it out to the output. So as you can see, Kainton the Genius, we have name variable. The same way you can always define other variable, for instance int age equal to 36. Okay, so at this point you have variable called age and assigned a value called 36, and I'll also declare more than one variable in the same line. So you can say something like int age is equal to 36, float years equal to 34.8 is also very correct. Okay, so let's use something else. Okay, let's say double. We'll talk about this at a later time, so it goes away. The same way you can declare two variables in the same line. You can say int age year number. So at this point what we have, okay, this already exists, age 2, year 2. So we declare three variables right in the same line and it's also okay. Remember that variable names cannot actually start with a number, so you can't say int 3age and it's not going to work. Variable names cannot start with number, it can't start with an asterisk, so it's better to just use letters to start variable names. Alright, but you can actually say age 34. or age, whatever. So numbers can come after the letters but not before. So this is how to declare a variable. Now initializing a variable means assigning a variable an initial value. So here I declared int h3 equals 36, means that I declared a variable called h3 and assigned it an initial value of 36. That is called initialization. The same way I declared a variable called string name and assigned it a value kind on the genus. I could actually do it in 2 lines, declare this variable and assign a value in the next line. So in this way I use 2 lines, one for declaration and one for initialization. But to keep the code simple, you can actually declare and assign on the same line. That is what I normally do. Alright, how do we get user inputs from the console? Now I'm going to ask a user to enter his age. So let's see. You use Console.ReadLine. Console.ReadLine. I can always say enter. Okay, Console.ReadLine. So now Console.ReadLine, what it does is that it waits for a user to enter an input. So I can actually grab what the user enters and assign it into years. Let's say I declare a variable called int years equals Console.ReadLine. Now you can see there is a problem here. So let me use string just to avoid this problem. Okay, so it goes away. So string yes equals Console.ReadLine. It means that the variable called yes is declared as a string, and whatever the user enters is assigned here. Alright, so let me declare a different thing. For instance, in city equals the Console.ReadLine, and let's assume I want to print out what the user enters. So I can always say Console.WriteLine city. So at this point what happens is whatever the user enters, I'm going to also print it out on the screen. So let's see. So assuming I enter city, assuming this is the name of the city, so it prints it out at the screen out there. So that is the use of Console.ReadLine. Console.WriteLine writes the data out on the screen. ReadLine reads the data. Now there is also Console.Read. There is also Console.Write, and there is also Console.Read key. So all these I give you as a homework to find out what they mean. Now we have C-type data, C-sharp data types. There are many of them. For instance, we have character A equals. So characters are enclosed in double quotes. If I say something like this, it will be wrong because characters are enclosed in single quotes. Okay, so that is about character data type. Now we also have double data type. Double data type is used to hold decimal floating point numbers, so numbers with decimal places. Double KK is equal to 6545.70. So that is very fine. The same thing with single, the same thing with decimal value equals 56.7. so that's about decimal, but most times, okay, so we have, okay, decimal value is equal to, it's giving me use an M suffix. Okay, most times you simply have to use double. I think double is the most versatile, is the most easiest to use without having to add a suffix. So if I use float value 2 equal to 89.0, it gives me an error message, and now but I need to put F at the end the error message goes away. So try to read up on every other data type that might be out there. There is another data type. We have two categories of data types. We have the reference type and the value types. What we've been working with is called the value type, where you assign a value directly to a variable. So value 1, value 2, value kk, all these are value types. But let's take, for instance, we have something like string name equal to new string. Okay, now I have name, but there is no value. Okay, I already have name, so let's say name3 equal to new string. So I have new string. Okay, so I've created a new string. Okay, let's say, sorry, let's correct this. Okay, let's leave this. Let's just say int number 2 equal to null. Okay, now it gives me an error message because the problem is that I want to assign a null value to it because initially I don't know what value it is. So that means I'll have a problem. Talking about reference types and value types. Now I want to assign null value assigned, just a null value. It gives me an error message. So it means that this is a reference type. In an interview, you may be asked what is the difference between a reference type and a value type. The simple answer is value types are stored on the stack, reference types are stored on the heap. Alright, so that is one answer to that question. But now how do we solve this problem? Let's try something. If I say string number 3 equals no, it goes, no problems, because a string is a reference type. Okay, so it can always, it means that the location of this value of this variable is on the heap. Okay, and it doesn't have any value. It simply allocates a memory location on the heap for that value without any data attached to it. But integer types are value types, so that means we have a problem. So how we solve this is to use nullable, a nullable type. You can make this int nullable, so it means that for you to handle it, you can just put a question mark here. So what this means is that this number 2 becomes a reference type and can accept a null value. So that is the concept of nullable in C#. Alright, so now we are coming to the end of this class. Introduction to pointer and pointer types, that we will do in a different tutorial because this seems to be an advanced topic. So we'll discuss pointers in a different tutorial, but let me just give you a brief start to pointers. Pointers are declared this way: int star, okay, int I equal to 45. Okay, if I now say int star j equals star hash as ampersand I, so now what it means is that j is a pointer to I. A pointer holds the memory location of a variable, so it means that j holds the memory location of I, not actually the value of I, but the memory location to I. So if you look at it, this error, it says pointers and fixed size buffers may only be used in an unsafe context. So let's try to do something. Just copy this code or cut it let's put it inside a function that's void add. Okay, so let's place this inside this function. So it still tells me there's an error there. Well, let me use something else. JJ. Okay, fine. So there's an error there. So if I now put a word unsafe, the error goes away. Okay, so when it comes to pointer, they are used in an unsafe context, and we are going to discuss this in the 24 classes of Advanced C# ASP.NET C# program. We are going to stop there. I hope you understand everything, and if you have any question, leave it on the comment box, and there is a homework for you to do. Let's see. Okay, the homework is also in the description box. Just look at your course outline. You'll see the homework. That is homework 4. Do it and leave your answer in the description box. Remember, subscribe to get updates, and also invite your friend to join the class who may like to be part of this class. I would like to thank you for viewing. See you in lesson 5.